What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are now in video number 3. I'm back here in my garage, no Lamborghini and no bookcase behind me. If you get the joke, you're cool. But we're back. I'm gonna make a video today on what it's like to drive a cammed 5.7. As I mentioned in my first video, this car does have a fairly nice cam, some headwork, full bolt-ons, a rear, a couple other little bits and pieces, transmission, engine tune. So it's a very fun car to drive. Full disclosure, the car does have some little kinks that we need to iron out, and it's going back to American Muscle Performance in about a week. So they're gonna be tearing it into it again and seeing what's going on and get it all ironed out. For the time being, while it's maybe not making the 400 plus that it initially did on the dyno, it is still a really fun car to drive. The power is on tap, and it is definitely a thrill to get on the road with. As much as it's crazy to believe, this car does get 30 plus miles per gallon on the highway. And that's really good for a V8, especially for a car that weighs 4,400 and some change pounds with me in it. In the city, you have a little bit of a kink here and there when it comes to the cam, which is one of the big reasons why the car is gonna go back in about a week or so. But for the meantime, let's hit the road, let's see what it's like, and I'll give you guys a nice walkthrough on what it's like to drive a big family sedan that can get down. I wasn't going to record it at first, but why not give you guys some low sound? It's a beautiful Florida day down here. We're gonna be up in the 80s today. I am personally from New Jersey, just moved down here last year, so this is definitely a new experience for me. But honestly, as a car guy, as a person who loves the outdoors, 100% thumbs up for this. You will never see this kind of weather in January up there, and I totally appreciate it. So let's go have some fun. What's up everyone? We're back. We are on the road. We're heading to our destination to have a eye doctor's appointment. But yeah, we're on the road. Let's see how she drives. I'm about to hop on the express lanes of the road because they tend to be empty. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the car into my custom mode, in my preferred drive mode, which is usually sport mode, everything except for steering, which is going to be track. With my taser, which I promise I'm going to make a video about in the near future on what it does and how to use it. But I have a shortcut button down here, which is programmed, if you see my thumb on the bottom right. And if I press it, it goes straight into my custom modes. So as you can see, just cruising along, chilling. Car acts very much like stock, even though it has a cam and all this other stuff. You honestly would never even know that the car has anything done to it just driving down the road. However, you can be driving down the road, and obviously we're in Florida. Speed limits tend to go out the window out here, so I'm literally doing 85 miles an hour and just barely passing other traffic next to me. So I am going to wait for a little bit of a straight stretch just ahead. And once we get there, I'm going to slow down a little bit, and I'm going to punch it real quick and see how she does. So let's get over to this left lane, which is pretty empty. I'm gonna wait for the car behind me to pass me really quick. And the straightaway's coming right up. We're going to use the paddle shifters to downshift. I'm going to hit maybe, let's say 40. Again, just waiting for this car to pass me. Don't want to, get myself into any trouble. But let's, we're at a 40 right now. That V8 just roars through that Hellcat exhaust. The valves are wide open, long tube headers, no cats, so it's obviously a little louder. We were going a little bit of an uphill, so it was a little bit of a slower speed up, if you will. But you can just see how those shifts are just clean as can be, almost instantaneous. And the car just sounds great, it pulls great. And let's give it another little whirl since the road is still empty. My engine temperatures, if you notice down here, are usually at about 185, 186 because I do have a lower temperature thermostat rather. But once you hit it, it does go up into the 190s, but you will never generally see 200s unless I am literally beating the absolute crap out of it. So let's see what we can do. Give it another quick little hit. Let's do a 60 this time. It takes a blink of an eye to get yourself into speeds that would literally land you in jail. As you can see, it goes up to about 194, 195 when you're really pushing it, and then it quickly just drops right back down to the 180s, which is great. You want to keep these engines cool. But yeah, other than that, you can literally just cruise down the road on this thing. You can't see it from there, but if I go into my regular mode, let it go into 8th gear, I am currently hitting 32 miles a gallon, cruising at 65. Like I said, it's a very, very well-mannered car on the highway. To get 30 mile plus a gallon out of this car is just insane. Now, granted, once you get the average, which I don't do a lot of city driving, but I do beat on it a lot, so it's not generally just cruising at a nice little RPM. But once you average it out, it does come out into the mid to high 20s MPGs. But if I take a long drive, for example, I just did Key West, which was about 800, 900 miles round trip a couple days ago. It'll sit at about 30, 31, 32 miles a gallon average, just cruising down the highway. Getting 33, 34 right now, actually. But yeah, other than that, the car handles great. It is sitting on a... Oops, sorry. Guess I missed my exit. That happens when you're just kind of beating on it. But yeah, the car is sitting on some SRT static suspension. So it drives a little bit rougher, and I say that with, you know, kind of a tongue-in-cheek remark because it's not really that rough. But it does ride a little rougher than stock. But I love the way that it drives. It honestly just handles so great. It takes turns surprisingly well for being a really big car. And a lot of my friends are surprised about it too, because again, it's such a big car. It weighs, you know, 2 tons and some change, and it'll still take turns really well. It stays flat on the corners. It takes bumps really well. You hit a bump and it just flattens out, as opposed to the stock suspension that does bounce around. I do have a couple other things I want to record on this video, but let's go ahead and get to our destination. I'm gonna do what I have to do really quick, and once we hit the road again, we will be back and have a little more fun. What's up, everyone? We're back. We're hopping onto the highway right now. I finished with my errands and what I had to do. Figured I'd get another little run at how the car drives. I'm gonna throw it into my custom mode now. You can just vaguely see on the right side over here that my performance pages are up. I have the drive modes on right now and selected. Let me actually put up the windows so my voice comes through a little better. Cool. So again, over here, drive modes. I have my sport, traction, and transmission on, and my steering is on track mode. That's what I find the most comfortable when I am, you know, driving a little faster, doing a race, whatever the case might be. We are driving on the highway right now in Tampa. It's a little bit of a bumpier part of the highway right now because we're in the local part of it inside of the downtown Tampa area. But as soon as we get a little bit further out of the area, we will hit some straightaways and we can hit it. But just casual driving, normal everyday driving like I'm doing right now. I'm doing the speed limit pretty much. You can see how well mannered the car is. going through those bumps, you can tell that the car does bounce, but it's a very quick, almost instantaneous recovery because of that SRT slash Scat Pack static suspension. Again, very, 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 very important upgrade if you ask me, because the stock RT suspension is very boaty. If you've ever driven these cars and they're kind of a base model or a non-SRT model, you can just tell how bad the bounce is. Just putting the window up a little bit so we don't get too much wind. Cool. So, again, hitting bumps like nothing. One of the big things I'd say with these cars that I would say you should get almost as soon as you get the car is these Hellcat paddle shifters right here. The stock cars, even the SRT 392s and Scat Packs, come with a plasticky feeling paddle shifter, and it's about maybe half the size. It ends like right here. Feels cheap, doesn't really make you want to use them. These feel like they're kind of like a titanium aluminum material. They're very clicky. As you can see, the transmission instantaneously responds to whatever you want it to do. And they just make you want to drive the car in paddle shift mode a lot more. I love driving the car in paddle shift mode. When I am trying to get through traffic or just slow cars, these are my go-to. These are my best friend. Let's get on these express lanes, which are usually the quiet part of the highway. And never mind, they're closed. So we'll skip that plan. We're perfectly fine on the regular local side. Let's give it a quick little pull. See how far down on the gears we can get. Third gear right here. Just so nice to drive, honestly. Now, don't get me wrong, you are not going to beat, certain cars on the road. But pretty much I'd say 98, 97% of the cars you will come across on the highway that you want to pass, that you want to, have a little fun with, you will be able to either keep up with them or pull on them, which surprises a lot of people because they see the four-door, they see all the room you have in the car, and they don't expect it, especially for the RT models, which, they're missing the flare, the bumpers and the different side skirts and the hood and all that other stuff that just make it look flashy. These just look like your regular sedan, which granted, I have the SRT hood up here in the front, which you can see the bulge just barely from the intake. But other than that, if I'm driving down the road, you would think I'm just your regular average, sedan, and I can fit, 5 people in here comfortably. I could fit kids in here, I could fit so much luggage in the trunk, and still have a car that sounds great, handles great, and is just a blast to drive. Another little quick straightaway here. As you can see, just shifts so quick. Just like that, you will get a nice night in jail. Honestly, there really isn't very much to say other than that. The car drives great with the cam. And again, once I am in 8th gear, even in my preferred mode, my custom mode, I can still get high 20 mile per gallon averages. I just switched it over to the performance part of the pages, which shows your estimated quote-unquote wheel horsepower and torque, as well as what gear you're in, your speed, and you can also pull up a whole bunch of other things, your gauges and whatnot. I'll make a different video for that where I can walk through everything that the radio comes with as far as performance is concerned, your selectable modes, your gauges, your information and whatnot. But yeah, I think this is a good way to end the video. Nice little drive in Tampa. It is already 80 degrees and it's not even 12 o'clock, so a beautiful, beautiful day out here. It just asks to be driven. And honestly, I love driving this car. I got this vehicle with just under 30,000 miles, about, it's gonna be 2 years next month. And I am sitting at just about 98, 99,000 miles. So it's almost 100,000 miles on this car. And they have been all fun miles. Long road trips, track days. This car's been on the track at least, I'll say, 30 times. And easily down the track maybe over 70 times. This car has gone down the track multiple times. This car has seen Mexico dozens of times. And it just keeps going. It runs great, it handles great, and you would honestly think that I baby this car more than what you would expect. So again, great car, fun car. We still have some kinks to work out because the car is not putting out the power that it should be putting out, of the power that it put down on the dyno when we first had it on the dyno. But we're gonna get there, and once the car is fixed, we will have some track days. This car has been down the track again many times, and when it was stock, it was in the low 13s. When it was just exhaust work and intake, it was 12.7 at 109. So assuming the power bump I got with the cam and everything that I did extra outside of that, I'm going to estimate lowish 12s on a street tire. And once I can snag myself a nice decent set of maybe 17-inch wheels, lightweight, with a decent meaty tire for the track, I'd say this car could easily get into the high 11s with some good track prep, some good weather, which unfortunately for the track in Florida, kind of a hit or miss. Winter is your best time, but again, we're in the midst of winter right now, and it's going up near 90 today. So, you know, you got to pick and choose your days and see when you can find a night where it's, you know, maybe 60s or even a couple 50s, which we do get. And get that good solid DA to get those best personal best track times. So it's a good way to end the video. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, want to see something, want me to review something, is there a mod here that you guys just are curious about, that you want to know more about, feel free to let me know. Hit the thumbs up button if you like what you see. Make sure to subscribe. Subscribe button should be down here somewhere. And leave your comments. Let me know what you think. And the best way I can improve is by what you guys say. So feel free to leave whatever you want, regardless of if it's good or bad. Thanks. And let me hit it one more time. It's just so quick how that ZF just shifts down. All right, guys. Peace.